Welcome to the Tamara Rochelle Show.
Change your life. It's not easy when life is a challenge, but as women with goals and dreams, we find balance. You have the power. You have the power.
And now here's your host, Tamara Rochelle, your how-to coach and take action strategist.
From babies to toddlers to adolescents to teenagers to college grads, parenting evolves as your kids grow. And while your role changes, your love and support remain constant. While you will always be there for your kids, you also have to learn when and how to let them go. Hey, sister friend, welcome to the Tamara Rochelle Show, a show dedicated to helping you make positive changes in your life, relationships, and career so that you can finally accomplish your goals and live the life you really want to live. I'm Tamara Rochelle, your how-to coach and take action strategist, and the founder of the Take Action Academy. Today, we're diving into a topic that sits really close to home for me, parenting through the different stages and phases of our kids' lives. From changing diapers to watching your kids head off to college, the role of a parent is ever evolving. And as parents, we're constantly learning how to support our kids, but we also need to learn how to let go and trust that we prepare them to stand on their own 2 feet. Whether you're raising little ones, navigating the teenage years, or learning to let go of your young adults, this episode is for you. Raising 4 kids and for so many years a bonus son, it has been one of the most rewarding and challenging experiences of my life. I've gone through every stage. You often hear me talk about a time in my life when I had a child in each stage of development under one roof at the same exact time. The baby, the toddler, the adolescent, and the teenager. So yes, I've been through the terrible twos and watching my toddler throw tantrums. I've even made it through the teenage years and all of the attitudes, or I should say, they made it through the teenage years. I survived raising 3 daughters, fighting over clothes and shoes, and dealing with a son who ate everything in sight, and then he refused to take regular baths on his own. That is until he got his first girlfriend. But yes, I've been through it all. And oh yes, I can't forget the dating and dealing with teenage love, but that is a whole other show. I'm definitely going to have to do a show on that. But all that to say, parenting is full of twists and turns, and boy, how time flies. I remember people telling me all the time to enjoy every moment because they grow up so fast and they grow up just like that. And though I've been in the game over 30 years, that feels true because now all of my kids are full grown adults. My baby boy is 20 years old and he's a junior in college now. And 2 of my daughters even have children of their own. One of the toughest lessons I've had to learn, and to be honest, I'm still learning, is how to let go. When my kids were younger, I was in control. I knew where they were, what they were doing, who'd I given them permission to do it with, and I could easily jump in to troubleshoot and fix their problems, whatever was going on, whether it was that last minute project due tomorrow, problems at school or with friends, loss after a big game or a track meet. I was there to kiss the bruises and help mend the broken hearts. I was also able to step in and throw on my supermom cape whenever needed. But as they got older, I had to learn how to step back a little and trust that I've given them the tools and everything they needed to survive on their own. Letting go wasn't easy. And yes, sometimes I still struggle with it, especially with my son, who, despite being over 6 feet tall, he has this thing he likes to do when he's standing behind me. He likes to set his chin on the top of my head to show me just how big and tall he is. But he is still my baby boy. I have a friend in my life who often reminds me that my son is a grown man and that there are things that I have to let him figure out and handle on his own. But letting go and letting your kids grow up is necessary. Now, as an empty nester, I'm adjusting to this new season of life while still supporting my kids as they navigate adulthood. The lessons I've learned through all these stages and phases of parenting is that parenting is truly about evolving, learning when to hold on and when to let go. And I have definitely evolved as a parent and learned a few things with each child. I often joke with my oldest daughter that because I had her so early in life, I experimented with my parenting skills on her the most. And of course, there were times when my two older children thought I had grown two heads or something, and that the younger two got away with so much stuff, like they didn't recognize the parent I had evolved into, which I always argue and say it isn't true. I just learned a few things and did things a little differently as I learned and evolved as a person and a parent. Our role as parents also shift as our kids grow, but one thing stays the same: our love and our support for them. While our natural instinct is to protect them and prevent them from making any mistakes, especially the ones we've made in our lives, I've learned that it's okay to step back and to let them make their own mistakes, because that's how they learn and that's how they grow. Here are a few other things I've learned about parenting through my kids' different stages and phases of life and the role that parents play. 1, the toddler. At this stage, your role is to provide guidance and structure, to create a routine and set boundaries, and encourage their curiosity while keeping them safe. My son truly tested me through this phase. He was always jumping off of things and just being rough. One time he jumped off the steps from the kitchen to the garage and cut himself right above his eye, a mark he still wears today. After having 3 girls, I wasn't prepared for a son who played so rough, but it's in this phase where I probably learned to be an overprotective parent. 2, the preteens and teenagers. Now, despite the attitudes I mentioned earlier, this is actually when you start to loosen the reins a little bit. You're encouraging independence, but still staying very much involved. And during this phase, you have to be open to more honest and transparent conversations, because as they're growing, they're asking more questions, even when those conversations are difficult. 3, young adults. As they step into adulthood, your role shifts even more. It shifts to more of a supporter rather than a manager. And my kids might even go as far as calling me a micromanager. I don't know. I can't wait to have them on the show so that you can hear directly from them. And trust and believe, they are brutally honest, so you will hear the real deal from them. No holding back. They don't hold back. But this is the phase where you have to start letting them make their own decisions. You can be there to offer guidance when needed, but they have to make their own decisions. Letting go is hard, but letting go is necessary. Trust that you've given your kids the tools they need to succeed. Your job isn't to control them, but to love them and to be there when they need you. Number 4, stay connected. This is where I pride myself for the relationships and the connections that I have with each one of my children. They are extremely close to each other, but we also stay very close as a family. We have our group chats and we talk on video quite often. At least every other day we're on video talking. Even my son jumps on the family group video calls. It's easy to be close when everyone is under one roof, but even as they grow older, you have to find ways to stay connected. Regular check-ins, family traditions, or shared activities can help you maintain a strong family bond, even from a distance. All of my children live in different cities except for one. One is in Florida, 2 are in Georgia, and the other still lives in Ohio, where I also live. So here are some things you can do today as you continue to navigate your parenting journey. 1, reflect on your current parenting role. Take a moment to think about where your kids are in their development. Are you providing too much control? Are you giving them the space to grow? Write down one thing you can do to adjust your role to better support where they are right now. 2, encourage independence. Whether your kids are toddlers or young adults, find one way to encourage independence this week. Let them make a decision on their own or handle a responsibility without your help. 3, check in. If you have older kids, take some time to check in on them, not as a parent managing their life, but as a supporter asking how they're doing. Let them know you're there for guidance if they need it. Find a point of connection with each one of your children. As much as I enjoy family time, I also think it's important to have a personal relationship with each of your children. I have a connection and something in common with each one of my children that keeps us connected and helps us to be close. When my children were growing up, I was very intentional about spending alone time with each kid and developing our own special relationship as well as our family relationships. So you know what time it is. It's time for one of my favorite segments of the show, Ask Tamara, where I answer questions from sister friends around the world who just need a little bit of advice or wisdom as they navigate their life, relationships, and career and continue to make important decisions in their lives. And they just want another perspective. So today's question comes from a sister friend in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. She writes, Tamara, my only child is in her first year of college. I'm an empty nester now as well. I thought I'd be excited to have more time for myself, but honestly, I feel kind of lost. I feel like I spend so much of my time just waiting for her to need me again. Sister friend, I hear you, and trust me, you're not alone in feeling this way. Becoming an empty nester can bring on some mixed emotions. On one hand, you're finally free from the day-to-day grind of parenting. But on the other hand, it's like, now what? And for so long, you've been focused on caring for your kids and scheduling around their needs and just being everything. And when that's no longer the case, it can feel like a huge void. But here's the good news. This new chapter is not about waiting for them to need us. It's about rediscovering what you need from yourself. I get it. The house is quiet and it feels strange and you have so much free time on your hands. But this is the time for you to refocus on you. Reclaim your time and revisit some of your old goals and dreams, or focus on some new ones. Give yourself permission to grow. Just like our kids are growing into adulthood, this is your chance to grow and evolve into the next version of you. And don't forget, your daughter is still there. She'll always need you, just in a different way. So as I wrap up this episode, I want you to remember that parenting is a lifelong journey, but it's one that evolves over time. Whether you're raising toddlers or sending your kids off to college, remember that your love and support are the constants. Trust that you've done your part, and now it's time to step back and watch them shine. As my kids have grown, so has my understanding of parenting. One of the hardest parts of this journey has been learning to let go. But through it all, I've come to realize that letting go is a part of loving them. It's how they learn to thrive on their own. Now, as an empty nester, I'm adjusting to a new season of life while still being there for my kids as they continue to pursue their goals and dreams and raise their kids. Sister friend, I hope this episode was helpful and that you got some tips and strategies to help you navigate this parenting journey through your kids' different stages and phases of life. You know, I like to keep these episodes short and impactful. If you're an empty nester and looking to reconnect or redefine your purpose, make sure to visit my website at www.tamararochelle.com and check out my free purpose and passion course, because your purpose doesn't stop because your kids have grown up. If anything, it expands. Maybe it's time for you to start that business you've been dreaming of, or to go back to school to finish that degree, or just focus on your passions in the way you couldn't before. I have tools and resources to help with that as well. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to share it with others and make sure to subscribe to this podcast so that you don't miss an episode. And as always, let me know how you put these tips and strategies to work in your life. Drop your comments below or connect with me on social media at I'm Tamara Rochelle. Also, let me know if there's a topic you'd like for me to cover. I love getting your feedback and your suggestions. And if you have a question for Ask Tamara, you can email me at asktamara@tamararochelle.com or on social media using the hashtag AskTamara. And again, don't forget to visit my website and take advantage of all my other content and programs, my tools and resources and other products. If you want to work with me one-on-one or pick my brain and just get your questions answered, you can also book a private session with me. Thanks for tuning in and spending this time with me, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Take care, and until next time, keep showing up for yourself and keep taking action.
You have the power. You have the power. You have the power to change your life. You have the power. You have the power.
Thanks for tuning in. You've just listened to another episode of The Tamara Rochelle Show. If you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others. For more tools and resources, visit tamararochelle.com and connect with Tamara on social media at I'm Tamara Rochelle.